Hi, Michael. Thank you for joining. Let's wait for 2 or 3 more minutes so people can join, and then we will start. Okay?
Perfect. Pleasure to meet you.
Me too. Thank you. Okay, well, let's wait for 1 more minute to see if there is more people joining, and then we will start all over immediately, okay? Okay, well, let's start, and then as people will join, and then we will grant them the access to the webinar. Okay, first of all, I would like to let you know that we are recording the webinar, okay, so we can forward to you after the webinar in case that you want to review any information, okay, and also you can access to the webinar through our YouTube channel, okay. As we said, today we're going to be talking about all the technical, all the video analytics solutions that we have for critical infrastructures, okay. So for those that doesn't know me or don't know me or don't know the company, my name is Alvaro Mocholi. I'm responsible for international sales for Graycom Technologies. I'm also the CEO of the company, and then I'm going to give you a very brief introduction of our company so you know what we're doing, okay? Graycom Technologies is a company that is specialized on developing real-time analytics. We are very specialized on thermal imaging solutions. We have solutions for thermal cameras, radiometric cameras, but also we have for optical spectrum cameras. But our biggest expertise or our know-how is on the thermal imaging. Okay, and we also market third-party solutions, but out of the whole portfolio that we have of analytics, I will say 90% of them has been developed by us. Okay, so right now we have over 30 different analytics developed. Okay.
So yeah, any of the states report their chat not happening. Yeah, Democrats say they have a framework.
Oh, sorry. And then we have over 30 different analytics developed up to date, which can cover different areas that I will explain later on. We export to 64 countries worldwide. And then one of the, I think the biggest benefits or the biggest competitive advantages that we have is that our company can offer the whole chain of value. Okay, so that means that we have our own R&D department, which is responsible for developing the analytics. Also, we have an integration department, which is responsible for integrating our solutions with existing VMSs, cameras, digital input and output models, and any security devices that require like access control and so on. Okay, and then also we have our own pre-sales and after-sales department, which is responsible for supporting and helping doing all the engineering and the camera location and angles and so on, And then also we have our after sales department, which is responsible for solving any potential problems that might show up with the analytics, like bugs and so on. And then also, in case that there is any of the analytics or any of our projects that is not performing as expected, we can connect and fine tune it and adjust it until the customer is satisfied with the outcome. Okay. Okay, these are the 9 different lines of analytics that right now we have in our portfolio. We have perimeter surveillance. This is where we have more solutions. We have perimeter surveillance for thermal cameras, for optical spectrum cameras with artificial intelligence, and so on. I will explain later on one of the solutions. And then also we have solutions for the safety area. Marine surveillance, we also have solutions. Traffic, we are very specialized on tunnels, on detecting accidents, and then vehicles driving on the wrong direction, especially on the railway tunnels, on subway tunnels, when pedestrians get into the tunnel. So we do the surveillance. And also for the safety, what we do is we activate sprinklers, ventilators, and so on. Okay. Also, we have solutions for the fire prevention and detection. So we have solutions for wild forest and also for industrial scenarios. Okay. And then we have solutions for healthcare, which is the human temperature control, which is this is a solution just to detect people with high temperature. Okay. This is one of the best-selling solutions that we had in the US market last year. And then on the automation, we have plenty of solutions just to hold on, plenty of solutions for automation and manufacturing process control. Also, we have face recognition solutions, and then we have our own VMS and VMS with forensic purposes. Okay. Okay. As for critical infrastructures, I mean, what we understand for critical infrastructures is all those facilities with all those facilities which involve like transport, food industry, nuclear plants, energy, government buildings, water supply, space, finance, R&D, chemical industry, healthcare, telecommunications, army. So all those facilities, they require a specific or a high degree of security. So what we have done for this webinar is we have divided the presentation in 2 areas. One is going to be the security area, and the other one is going to be the safety or safety area. Okay, so let's start with the security. Okay, the first solution that we're going to have is the perimeter lockout. This is a perimeter surveillance solution which has artificial intelligence. Okay, this will allow us to discriminate objects and auto-classified objects like humans and vehicles, and also at the same time we will be able to discriminate animals, foliage, light changes, shadows, raindrops, and so on. This is a very accurate solution. Okay, of course, when you work with artificial intelligence and then you want to auto-classify, it has one very big advantage is that the accuracy is very always as long as the algorithm is good, which in this case is the case. But one of the handicaps or the counterparts that this solution might have is the detection range. I mean, whenever you're using this solution with thermal imaging, in order to auto-classify the objects or to be able to identify by morphology of the objects, you need a minimum target size, let's say about 12 to 16 pixels. So that means that your detection range cannot go any farther than 200 meters maybe, okay? In case that you want to auto-classify. In case that you don't want to auto-classify, we have another solution which is called, for example, the Sentinel, which is the first solution that we developed. This solution can go on a very long range. Maybe we can reach 450, 500 meters, no problem. Okay, but it has the inconvenience that you cannot auto-classify, and sometimes, I mean, the level of accuracy is not as good as the perimeter lockout. So depending on the facility and then also depending on the requirements of the client, you can choose between both of them. You can go with the Sentinel, which is very long range, so you can save a lot of number of cameras, or you can go with the Perimeter Lockout, which is a solution that, let's see if I can. And you have the Perimeter Lockout, which is a very accurate solution, but the detection range is not so long. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put you a couple videos so you can see how the solution works. As you can see on here on this video, I mean, you are detecting the human, but for example, the dog is detected, but is not classified, so it doesn't trigger alarm.
Can't see your screen.
You cannot see? Oh, I don't know. Is anyone?
I can see it.
So maybe it's the internet connection with.
I think it's the internet connection. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You might.
I can see your screen, Alvaro.
Okay, so let's carry on.
Alvaro, you're muted.
So sorry, thank you. On the first video, this was the perimeter lockout. So you could see that you can auto-classify all the objects that are on the field of view of the camera. Okay, you can discriminate all those objects that are not humans and vehicles. Okay, and here there is a totally different concept. Okay, here is with thermal imaging. Okay, this is, for example, this is a very large perimeter. Okay, and here you can see there is 4 cameras. The ones on the left, as you will see, there is very low contrast and still we can detect it. The one on the middle, there is very shaky camera with the because of the wind, and still we can detect the object. And on the one on the right is very far distance. We're talking something close to 400, 450 meters away. Okay, so let me just put you the video. As you can see, the video is on a fast mode because otherwise it will take forever. Okay, so we just put it on a very fast mode. Here it detected the dog here on the middle one, but I mean, as you can see, it's not triggering any alarms on the fence or as the camera is moving. Okay. And also the numbers that you see next to the overlay. Okay, this means the percentage of accuracy. So for instance, if it says 1, that means 100% sure that it's a human. If it's 99, it's 99% that it's a human. Okay, so that is telling you the level of accuracy. Okay, now we're gonna go for another solution. This is the Coast Guard. This is the marine surveillance solution. Okay. Basically, what this solution does is detects large and small vessels, okay, or floating objects. I mean, any floating object that has a minimum target size of 2 pixels, always as long as the camera can see, we will be able to detect it, okay? What are the key benefits of this solution? First of all, is that it doesn't trigger alarms, or it doesn't generate false alarms by the waves and by the reflections on the water, okay? Secondly, the solution can work with PTC cameras or fixed cameras. Okay, so you can work on a patrol mode, or you can work on with fixed cameras. Also, we have done this, we have used this solution with helicopters and drones, always as long as the camera is facing the water, okay? If the camera is not facing the water, then it doesn't work, okay? Also, one very good advantage of this is that we can position the objects on a map, okay? Always as long as we have one reference point, whenever we detect it, we can figure out the GPS or UTM coordinates of that object, and then what we can do is we can position those objects on a map, okay? Also, we can integrate this solution with existing radars, okay? So as you know, especially the long-range radars, they have kind of like a shadow area, which is it can be something between 1.5 or 2 miles. 2 miles. It doesn't cover that area, and also it doesn't detect the rubber or small boats. So what for example, in Valencia seaport here, which is the largest port in the Mediterranean by container traffic, here what we do is we cover the shadow area of the radar, and then what we do is we send all the detections or all the alarms on all the objects that we detect, we position on the map of the radar. So on the same map, they can control the very far ships and vessels, and also the ones that are on the shadow or the blind area, let's call it, okay? Then also you can have multiple detection rules. That means that you can have like a line crossing. You can have like when you have like invasion, someone comes into a restricted area, and then also you have this solution. It can work on a hybrid way. That means that, for example, imagine that you are in a port and you want to control the docks and also the water area next to the docks. So what you can do is we have like a hybrid solution that can work on land and also on water. Okay, so that can work also. Here I'm gonna put you a video. This is like here people is doing some paddle surf, and as you can see here, there is two objects that we are not detecting. Okay, so you can observe them always as long as they are fixed. And as you can see, there is some reflections, and then also there is some waves, and still we cannot, or we don't trigger any alarms by that. And then also what you can do is you can have different alarm profiles depending, I mean, if it's on a small by size or if it crosses one line, and so you can have different types of alarms. As you can see here, there's one is in red and the other one is in blue. So depending on the profile, what you can do is you can have it. Okay, now we have also the face recognition. This is a solution that is not developed by us. This is a third party. This comes from Real Networks, from Safer. I'm sure some of you guys know them because this is a US company. Okay, so what we do is we sell this solution for them here in the Spanish and Latin markets. Okay, this solution can guarantee a 99.87% of accuracy. This is something that has been certified by the NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And then if you're wearing a mask, the percentage of accuracy can go as high as 98%. So it's very accurate solution. Also follows all the privacy laws and regulations, the AS 256, and then also all the data, while it's safe, is encrypted, so that no one can access unless you have the credentials to be able to access to the recordings. The speed of detection is very fast, less than 100 milliseconds. And then this is, it can be flexible, it can go on the cloud, it can go hybrid, or it can go on premise, okay? And also one very good key advantage that this solution has is that the processing requirements is about 20% lower than competing solutions. Also, it can work on Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android. Okay, and also APIs and SDKs are available to communicate with access control devices, VMSs, and so on. Okay. So what can we do with the face recognition? Of course, we can do access control with a contactless solution. We can do mass detection, audience management. So you can manage the occupancy of one given area. Okay. Also, you can detect like a blacklist, for example, or for example on airports. In case that you have like a blacklist, you can also detect that kind of people, okay? And you also can have the multi-factor authentication. That means, for example, now in hospitals, that people, doctors or nurses are wearing like all these anti-COVID clothing, which is pretty much impossible to be able to see the face. So what we can do is we have like a QR code, and then whenever the camera detects that QR code, also you can identify. Okay, so what it does, when we say double factor, is first of all we analyze the badge, and then secondly we analyze the face, and if the badge face matches with the face, it grants the access. Okay. Also, we have the anti-spoofing solution. That means that this system is able to identify non-real faces like pictures, videos, and so on. Okay, and then also what you can do some analytics like on gender, age, and expression. Okay, you can also have a heat map, so you can see how people is moving around. You can also manage queues and also have the dwell times inside one given area and so on. Okay, so here I'm going to put you a video, so I show you how the anti-spoofing works. Okay. As you saw in the video, whenever the system detects that it's a real face, automatically comes like a green heart on the top. But whenever you put a picture or you put a video and the system detects that it's not a real image, then you will see that it's a red heart with a cross. That means that the system has identified a non-real face, okay? And then in that case doesn't grant any access. Okay, now we're going to be talking about the last solution that we have for the security area, which is the VMS. Okay, as you know, most of the VMSs that are available on the market, pretty much the only thing that they do is recording and save the have like a database of all the events that the analytics have generated. Okay, this is one step beyond. Okay, what we do with the VMS, this VMS has artificial intelligence, also has deep learning on it. Okay, so that means that what we can do is smart search. Okay, what is a smart search means? That means that, for example, imagine that we are in a airport, that we have hundreds or thousands of cameras, and then an event happened, and then we have to look for one suspect and one individual. Okay, what you can do is you can get the face of that person, enter it into the search profile, and automatically the system will be searching for that face throughout all the cameras that are connected to the VMS. Okay, and automatically all those faces that matches to the criteria that you have set up the system for automatically will pop up. So you will have small clips of all the suspects that match your criteria. You can do that with face. You can do that with by gender. You can also do that by colors, like red jumper or blue. So long short sleeves, shorts or long jeans or something like that. Okay. So it's a very also you can do it by type of vehicle. Okay. And then also what you can do is you can have this system. You can have like a kind of like a sound analytics. That means that whenever the system detects any kind of people yelling or fighting or like glasses breaking and something like that, automatically will pop up an alarm and will give you an alarm on it. Okay. Also, one of the key advantages is that always, as long as the objects are on the field of view of the camera, we can position on the map, and then what we can do is we can track them down and see how that person is moving throughout the field of view of the camera. Even if the person crosses several or multiple cameras, we can still leave the tracking of that person. So we can see how that person has been moving around the field of view of the camera. Okay. Also has one quite unique thing. It is that this solution can work on the cloud or it can work on premise. Okay. But whenever it's working on the cloud, okay, what the system does, if there is no movement or there is no action on the field of view of the camera, automatically the system will reduce the resolution of the camera in a way that you're still recording 24/7, but on a lower resolution, so you don't occupy as much saving or recording space on the servers or in the cloud. And then whenever the system detects any movement, automatically jumps into the high resolution and starts recording on high resolution. Okay. Also, you can have heat maps, so you can see how people are moving around and where they spend more time, or how people are moving around the premise. Okay. It is the configuration is extremely simple in case that you're using our cameras, or in case that you're using a third cameras is also quite simple. Okay, but I will explain you. This can also be accessible through Android or iOS, any smartphones, tablets, or laptops, and also has the APIs and SDKs, so you can connect to existing VMSs, or you can connect to, for example, access control devices. Okay. This is a solution that is developed by Ava Security, which is a US, Norwegian, and English company. Okay, and you have two ways of working. Now you can work with their own cameras, which is the good thing about these cameras is that they have their own artificial intelligence embedded into the camera, and also the recording is into the camera, it is embedded. So you can save about 30, 60, 90, and 120 days. Okay, so you have different options. So whenever you're working on the cloud, the good thing about it is that you're not sending the full stream of the video through the cloud, consuming all the bandwidth of the internet. So it's being saved locally, and then you can access to all the recording through the cloud. Okay. Now, for instance, imagine that we have a facility that already has the cameras. In that case, what we need to do is we need to implement this cloud connector, which is a server. Okay, and on this server we will have the artificial intelligence, and also we will have the recording hard drives. Okay, so this connector will be connected to the cloud, and then we can access to the connector or to the server through any smartphones, tablets, or laptops, always as long as we have internet connection to the cloud. Okay, and as I said before, You can have API and SDKs to connect to existing VMSs, existing security systems, or access control devices. Okay. I'm going to put you here a video to show you how this search tool works. Okay.
Welcome to Ava Aware. Today we're going to cover search. Search is a tool that allows us to search for specific events that may have occurred across one or multiple cameras. This allows us to search for things like the appearance of a person or a vehicle, a line cross event where a vehicle or person has crossed a specific virtual line that we've drawn, loitering events where a person or a vehicle may have been stationary for too long in one place, indicating something like an idling vehicle that may be outside of a loading dock or outside of an airport, or a person that may just be acting suspiciously in an area that they should not be. We can also alert on sound detection, and this leverages the onboard sound detection in our Ava Aware cameras that can detect things like glass breaks, loud noises, smoke alarms, and many more audio models that are being added with each release. So, for example, if we were to create a line cross search, what we can do is we can choose what kind of objects we want to search for. We can stick with any or go down to a specific person. This person can be specified based on gender or based on the attire that they're wearing in the top or the lower quadrant of their body, and you can combine both colors as well, looking for people in uniforms or based on a description that was given by a third party. We can also leverage an image. If someone has captured a cell phone image of this person or vehicle, we can upload that in order to do a search based on these detections. Then we can choose where we want to do this detection. So this detection can take place, for example, on a camera in a parking lot. It could also happen inside of a building. So if we were looking for people that may have been in front of a register, we can choose one or multiple cameras and then choose the line that we want these objects to be crossing in order to qualify for the detection. We can choose the direction of travel of this object. And in the case of something like a convenience store, if we're just looking for anyone that is walking out, as this person just did in this example, we can unclick the entering direction so that we're only looking for the direction of travel out the door. And then we can choose the time period that we're searching for. This can be anywhere from specific minutes down to a block of time that may be days or hours. And in our case, when we're just looking for the last 30 minutes worth of search, we're presented with all of the events that correspond to our search criteria. So in our case, we're looking for people that are exiting. And if I highlight over that video, we're going to see the people that are exiting. I can click into this video to see it in greater detail. This will allow me to see not only the event that occurred, but the object within our floor plan as that user exits this building. I can then click to act on that activity. But we can also see in our parking lot as a person was crossing that virtual line that we created. So this allows us to very quickly get to the events that matter to us and then act on them. These different video clips that we have captured here can then be exported. So we can take the relevant information by clicking the plus, and we can choose to share or save. So we can export this as an MP4. We can share this as a publicly accessible link. We can bookmark it so that these video clips do not get deleted by typical retention. And of course, we can also do similarity searches if we want to look for people that are similar to the objects that have been detected in these environments. Now, you're also presented with the ability to create a rule. We have a whole nother section dedicated to creating rules based off of searches as well as other parameters. I implore you to check that out.
Okay, now we're gonna go over the safety, which is about 3 or 4 more solutions. Okay, The first solution that we have is the temp threshold. Okay, this is a solution that we can use for fire detection or temperature analysis. Okay, let's call it. Okay, so basically how this solution works, what we do is we generate a background of the area where the okay, and then what we do is we analyze pixel by pixel on the temperature. Okay, so whenever we see that any of the objects that are on the field of view of the camera overcome or exceed the temperature that we have fixed the system for, or the behavior, okay, then is when we trigger the alarm. Okay, so we use this, we apply this, for example, to oil and gas, chemical plants, okay, and all the, all the recycling, dump, and biomass plants. This is where we use more often these solutions. Okay. What are the key advantages of this solution? First of all, is that it can also work on fixed or PTC cameras. Okay, and then also it can be it can work on embedded or it can work on server base. Okay, in case that it goes on embedded, we'll go with Axis Q29. Okay, or Axis Q 1941, 1951, 52, and 42. Okay, and then also, what it does, this solution has like a image adjustment. Okay, so that means, for example, if we are in a scenario where we have to detect objects that are between 100 degrees Fahrenheit and 200 degrees Fahrenheit, so what we do is we adjust the image in a way that all the objects that are under 100 degrees Fahrenheit, we will not see it, and all the objects that are over 200, we will not see either. Okay, so we just adjust the camera to the, let's call it temperature threshold of our interest. Okay, also you have like the temperature color palette. Okay, so that means that we can, according to the temperature thresholds that we want to analyze, we will give given colors, so it's very easy to identify. And also has the heat emission and the distance configuration. This is very important. Okay, as you guys know, the temperature dissipates with the space. That means the farther the object is from the camera, the less energy the camera is able to retrieve. Okay, and the closer the object is to the camera, the more accurate. Okay, so what we need to do is you need to adjust, or you need to configure the system based on the distance that you're detecting. So if I'm detecting 50 meters or 40 meters away from the camera, we need to adjust the temperature, we need to adjust the heat emission in a way that the temperature that we are reading is an accurate one. Okay, so not everyone is doing this. They're basically, what they're doing is they're reading the temperature. So this is one of the key advantages that we can offer versus some other solutions on the market. Also, we have like a multi-rule correlation or Boolean logic functions. Okay, that means, for example, imagine that you are in an oil and gas, or you are in a chemical scenario where you have a lot of machinery working on the field of view of the camera. So what we do is we set up different rules and behaviors, and if the temperature threshold matches and also the behavior matches, that is when we trigger the alarm. For instance, imagine that there is a machinery, there is an object, okay, the exhausting tube is about 200 degrees, which is on the temperature threshold, but this is an emerging object, and that object is moving around, and the intensity doesn't increase rapidly. So that means that the behavior doesn't match with the criteria of a fire. Okay, so in that case, we will detect the object, but we will not trigger the alarm. Meanwhile, whenever there is a fire, there is a hot spot that is increasing the temperature very rapidly, and also is increasing the size, but it's not moving around. Okay, so whenever the detection of the alarm matches that criteria, that is when we trigger the alarm. Okay, this is a very accurate solution. I will say we can be almost 100% accuracy on this. Okay, also is integrated with all the main VMSs available on the market: Milestone, Genetec, Axis Camera Station, Vigilon, Pelco, Cat 6, EDIS, Chameleon, Latitude, Digifort also, I think it is integrated with. So it is integrated with all the main VMSs, okay? And also you can activate the digital input and output models. So we can activate alarms, sprinklers, emergency doors, ventilators, and so on. Okay, here I'm gonna show you just a brief video. This is like a paper manufacturing, okay? So this is with a PTC camera. So here is it's already generated the background, and then automatically, whenever we see that the size and the intensity increases, we detect we trigger the alarm. Okay. Here there is another video. This is on a biomass plant. Okay, so here, as you can see on the upper right corner, you can see the maximum and the minimum temperature. Okay. So here, as you can see, there is machinery working around, and we are not triggering alarms. Okay, and also what we can do is we can detect the internal combustion. Okay, so here what I will do is I will show you some more as the camera is moving. This is a PTC camera also. So you can see, for example, the warmest point, or the here is this is the internal combustion is about 48 47 degrees. So this is very risky because, I mean, whenever you have internal combustion and the temperature is about 30 degrees and there is a little bit of wind and the humidity drops to something like around 30% or so, the risk of catching fire is very high. So it is very important to detect this internal combustion. This we can use it on serial treatment containers or tanks, and also biomass and dump plants. And here I'm going to show you another solution, which is the flame monitoring. Okay, this is a solution that we use for the oil and gas industry. And here, basically, what we do is we guarantee that the right gas combustion. Okay. Also, we analyze the flame and the flame size and the intensity, so we can guarantee that all the gases that the factory or the facility is emitting into the atmosphere are being incinerated. And then also what we can do is we can classify the status of the flame. So we can have ignition, venting, or extinction. Okay, venting is when there is no flame and there is gas emitting into the atmosphere. Okay, so this is for us is quite easy to detect. One of the key advantages of this solution is basically that we can analyze the flames at very far distance. I will say 400, 500 meters away. So that means that we can install the cameras outside the non-explosive area. So this is a very safe, very cost-effective solution, because you don't need to put non-explosive housing, non-explosive cabling, and so on. So definitely you can you can reduce the cost considerably. Okay. Also, this solution can work on server base and embedded. It is embedded into Axis cameras, and it can work with the thermal cameras, with the Q19s at the Q1941, 42, 1941, 52, and also with the Q29. Okay, and it can work in all of them embedded. Okay, and then you have like a video wall where you can see multiple cameras. Okay. And then you have like the analytics or the detection mask configuration tool is also embedded, so you can do it on the same interface as the camera. Okay, you can also generate dashboards, which you can also export it into PDF, XML, or Excel. Okay, and then you can also filter the alarms by date, by the status, or by camera. Okay. And then you can access to the system through any laptop, or always as long as you're connected to the same network. Okay. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you a video of the flame monitoring. This is the embedded version on the Axis camera, and this is how the embedded version will look like. So here you can see all the different flames status. Here the one you see that is one is venting, okay. And then also here with all the reporting. So here on the reporting, this is also on the embedded version. So on the same interface, you can have the reports. So you can classify by camera, by date, or by alarm type. Here, what you can do is you're classifying by the flares or by cameras. So you have on the same image, you have the dashboard with the graphics, and also you have the statistics. Also, we have another solution, which is the transformer monitor. This is a solution to detect overheating components on electrical machinery, or transformers, switches, like electricity boxes, and so on. Okay, so here basically what we do is we are monitoring 24 hours, 7 days a week, and then what we do in every given time, what we do is we just take a capture, we figure out the temperature, okay, and then here, for example, I'm going to give you here an example. Here we have 3 boxes, okay, so it's box number 1, 2, and 3, and here is giving you the average temperature of each one of them, okay. So all that data is being recorded on a database, and then automatically what you can do is you can issue, or you can have access to the dashboards or to the reports, and then you can see how that component or that part of the transformer is evolving throughout the time, okay? This solution is available also embedded into the Q29 from Axis, and then also is available on a server base with the rest of the camera manufacturers. And then we have the spill detector. This is to detect any kind of spill or leakage. So we can do the spill detection on water scenarios like oil or gas oil, and any substance that is more dense or is floating on the water, we will be able to detect it always, as long as we have the right view or field of view of the camera. And then also with this solution, what we can do is we can detect gas leakages or liquid leakages on pipelines, always as long as we have a direct view to the area where the leakage is happening. Okay. Okay, this is all the solutions. Here I'm going to give you a brief success cases that we have achieved throughout these years. On the defense and law enforcement, we have implemented the VMS on the FBI and also on the cybersecurity authority in the US. Also on the NATO headquarters, we are responsible for the access control with the NATO military base on south of Spain, which is called Rota. We do all the perimeter, marine. We do also the surveillance of the seaport and the air base. And then also we do all the military bases for the Army, for the Navy, and for the Air Force here in Spain. With the oil and gas, we have done with the flame monitoring with the Saudi Aramco, and then we do the perimeter surveillance with CEPSA and Repsol. Okay, we're on critical infrastructures like we do the Madrid International Airport, we do all the perimeter, Valencia Port. Okay, here we have, what I can do is I can give you I can send you a video of the gas leakage. And this is not a real case, we do it with a lacquer, okay? But I can send you some videos of gas leakages, okay? And then here on critical infrastructure, this is Trillo nuclear plant. We have 7 nuclear plants here in Spain. This is one of them, okay? On telecommunications, we have been dealing with AT&T, Etisalat on the Emirates, Telefonica here in Spain, Hitachi in the US, Facebook in the US, okay? On the banking, Santander, which is the 5th largest bank in the world, CaixaBank, which is among the top 10 also. Okay. Here we're gonna show you some of our local distributors. We have global agreements with Anixter and ADI, okay? And then also we work with, well, ScanSource no longer exists, and right now is Incomex. So we work with them for LATAM, okay? Tech Data and Ingram Micro also we work with them. And then as for installers, we have worked with Prosegur G4S, Thales, AT&T, Hitachi, Microsoft. Also, we have done some projects, security tests. Okay, and this is pretty much. Okay, now in case that you have any questions, please feel free to ask for. Okay, I just want to just say one last thing is one of the key advantages that we can offer versus some other companies in the market is that most of our competitors, they just have one solution, one specific solution like perimeter or like face recognition or license plate recognition and so on. And then the good thing about us is that we can offer a complete package of solutions, and then we can give support to all those solutions on the one supplier. Okay, so that is like one, this is like turnkey company that we can offer the full package. And also the price of the licenses includes setup, configuration, and fine tuning. It's included on the price. We do it remotely, and in case that is a critical infrastructure, we either train our system integrator, or what we do is we send some of our staff. Any questions that you might have, you can do it. You can activate the microphone, or you can use the chat. Tom asked me earlier on if we can have like samples of speak and leak detection. What I will do is I will send you some videos about the leak detection. Any questions?
Do you have any plans to expand into weapons detection?
This is not something, I mean, there is different companies that they do this. I mean, this is not something that we are planning to get into on the short time. I know that in the US right now is a very high demanded solution, and it has great potential. Okay, the problem is that, I mean, to detect the weapon once is you can see it. I mean, this is achievable. I mean, it can be done. Now, the tricky part is to detect when someone has under the clothes. Okay, that is the tricky part of it.
Right, agreed. Thank you very much.
Also, I mean, it's all demo license. I mean, we can offer demo licenses of all the solutions that we talked today. This is free of charge. We can do two types of demos. We can have like in-house demo. That means that we use the analytics. We run it over videos, and then or we can do a demo on premise, that or real demo. That means that we download a demo license into your laptop, and then we bring it to a real case scenario, and then we do a real proof of concept with always as long as you have the right equipment. Okay, either one is free of charge. Okay, so you can ask for it, and then we can set it up and then do all the configuration for you to make it work. Here you have my contact details. So you have my mobile telephone number, and also you have my email address. So in case that you need to contact me, you can do it on either one. And then what I will do is after this webinar, we will send you the presentation and also a link to watch the video in case that you want to go over it again. Yes, I mean, we have Michael asking if we have a classification tracking algorithm from a PTC. We can do it, okay, always as long as we are on the right distance, okay? So as I said before, with optical spectrum camera, the maximum detection distance should be at night, should be maybe 100 meters, okay? With the thermal camera, we can do it maximum, let's say, between 180 to 200 meters away from the camera. Okay, the way it works with the PTC for the perimeter surveillance, what we do is we set up the camera for different presets, and then once we move to each preset, the camera stays there for about 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, the first thing that we do is we generate a background, and then once we generate the background, which should take something like around 2 to 3 seconds, and then what we do is we analyze all the objects that start radiating differently from that background. And then once we detect any anomaly or any suspicious object, then is when we detect it, we track it, and then we classify it, always as long as the object is on the right distance. In order to auto-classify with thermal imaging, we cannot go very far away. The maximum distance will be something, as I say, 180 to 200 meters. With optical spectrum cameras, the maximum distance will be, I will say, 100 meters at night. During the day, we can go a little bit farther, but as you know, the minimum target size for auto classification should be 16 pixels. So, you guys have any more questions? Okay. Well, in that case, I would like to thank you for attending. It has been a long webinar, almost 1 hour. There is a lot of solutions. I tried to make it to do it as fast as possible, so you guys don't fall asleep. And then, as I said, I mean, what I will do is I will send all the presentation and also the video for you to review it. In case that you need any further information from us, please feel free to contact. Okay. Well, thank you very much once again, and let's keep in touch. Okay. Bye-bye.